Um, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Good morning once again. Um, so we'll be covering majorly CSS this morning, and CSS is it's called Cascading Style Sheet, and it's meant to be like a design for a website or a page. Assuming you have, imagine if you have like a web page and your items in your website. Let me run this. So imagine you have a website like this, and I don't know if you can see my browser.
Sorry, please, I can barely hear. I don't know if
Okay.
I'm the only one.
Same here. It's breaking, please.
All right, hold on.
What is it?
Is it better? Is it better?
Yes.
All right. Please let
Yeah,
me know.
it's
Let me know if you have problem hearing me or anything. So I don't know if you can see my you can see my browser bar. Oh, let me share again. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. Okay. Just give me a moment. So moving on. So CSS allows us to specify how to present or render the document into stored in the HTML. So text to CSS, we can control all the aspect of visualization and some other features like the colors, the margin, the positions, the sizes, the behaviors. It's just all about that. Is the way you see the things that you see on your that's basically what CSS does. So this is an example of a CSS code. So this is how comments are done in CSS. If you want to write a comment, you simply open a slash and with an asterisk and you write your comment. Then if you want to close it back, you're going to use your asterisk and you add a slash. Then this asterisk here, it means all. It means all the tags, everything in your website, how you want it to be, how you want to style it. So imagine we have in our website we have like let's have each one say hello everyone, and we have like an input say this would and we have a button say go and add a break to this, and I run this. So there's a way you can just simply run this on your browser without having to go to the file. It's something you can do on VS Code. You can simply click on sorry. You can simply click on this go live here. You click on go live here. Oh, it's not in the directory. Okay. Let me do that again. So you have to copy the entire thing from the directory to your VS Code. Let me do that again. Let me cancel this. Then so if I copy this down to my VS Code, okay, fine. So if okay, it's loading up. It's loading up. Just a second. Okay, so if I click on go live here, yeah, it's already running on the live. So there's no need to, once you save your code, automatically you can see your whatever you've done on your VS Code on your browser. So it makes your work faster, and rather than you saving and refreshing every time, you're already hosting it on a local server. So it's easier that way instead of refreshing your code. So I'm going to copy this. I personally want to use Chrome for this class. So so I'll just paste this. And yeah, you can see that it's running. So the universal asterisk, I want to show you guys how it works. So if you have if you want to add the style to your code, we can either use the internal styling, you can use the external styling, we can use the inline styling. But for now, I want to use the internal styling. So if you want to use the internal styling, you're going to add it to your head part of the code. So you're going to say style. So you're going to open the style tag and you're going to close it back in the head tag like this. So this is how you do your internal styling. If you want to do your external styling, it's just going to be something like this. You're going to create your style.css outside the HTML file. And if you want to do your inline styling, it will be, you're going to call your style as your attribute for this h1 tag. And this internal styling is different. It's quite different because it allows you to style just individual elements in each tag. So for now, like I said, I'm going to just show you with the internal styling first, then you can try it out with external and inline. So if I use the universal sign, which is asterisk, and I do this, and I say color, and I give it red, and I save this. So you can see that everything is color red in my page. Even if I add like a new tag to it, if I say P, for example, and say welcome, you can see that welcome as well has that same color. So that's basically what this sign does. This asterisk here does. It can help you style everything on your page. You can decide to add padding to it. Padding is CSS property as well. So if you say padding, say 30 pixels, you can see that everything in the page has padding. And I'm going to get to padding in a bit because it might seem a bit confusing now what it does. So let me just comment that out. So basically, the universal annotation is basically used for everything in your page if you want to style it. So moving on, Okay, like they said, this will change all the tags in my web browser. That means all to look blue with fonts. So you can add the fonts to everything in your page. You can add margin, and you can add the color, and leaving a margin of 10 pixels around. So there are like different CSS fields that we have. Here are some list of common CSS fields. We have the color, we have the background color, we have the background image, you have the font, you have the border top, border radius, margin, padding, width, height, text align, box shadow, cursor, display, overflow. So how to add it? You can insert it inside a style tag, which is the internal styling, like I said, referencing it in an external CSS file like this. If you want to reference it inside an external CSS file, like I said, the external styling, this is how you're going to link it in your head tag. And you can do you can add an attribute to your element, like I said, style, color, and you're going to add it in the particular element. So CSS selectors. Let's start by changing. Okay, if you want to, there are different types of selectors. We have the class, we have the IDs, and we have the element selector. So for this welcome to my, let me change it to welcome to my website. Let me make this a bit bigger. So welcome to my website. So there are different ways I can say I want to style this welcome to my website. So I can either style it with this p tag, or I can give it a class, or say welcome note. You can give it any class you want. I'm just giving it this particular class. You just have to like just make sense actually. So you can give it an ID as well of note. So you can style it with the class, you can style it with this ID, and you can style it with this P. So let's start by, say, we want to style it by the element name. So if I want to style this, I'm going to say P. If I want to style it by the element name, I'll just say P, and I'm going to give it a space. I'm going to open a curly brace like this, and I'm going to say color. If I want to give it a new color, let's say blue, and I save this. So you can see here that we already have the color blue. And you can style it by the only the class name, which is dot welcome. So if you want to style it by the class, you must add the dots first before the class name. So you say dot welcome note, and you're going to open the tag here. So if I comment this out, style the color. Let me call this brown. Control save. So you can see that we already have the color. So if you want to style it by ID as well, you have to use the hash instead of the dots that we're using. And you're going to call the ID name, which is the note, and you're going to do it this. So if I want to say maybe let me just use the font size. Let me increase the font size to 20 pixels. Save this. You can see that it's quite bigger because I increased the font size. And I can decide to change the font as well, say font family. So if you want to change the font type and the font family, sorry, you can as well by saying calling the property font family, and you can pick any of this one. If I say monospace and I save it, you can see that the font is different now. So moving on, I know some of you are probably wondering that what if we style this p tag and we style this welcome note the same way but different colors? which one would CSS listen to first? So let's try that. Situation where we have this color and we have this color too. You know, we are basically saying the same thing because we're calling that element name or we're calling the class name as well here, and we're styling them. So if I do that and I save it, you can see that it's listening to the class name more than it's listening to the element. So basically, CSS it will listen more to the class name than the element name. So like the class name is more of a priority than you calling the element. So let's try and add it to the ID so that I know to just see if I say this one's red. So you can see that it's now red. So ID is like the most should I say the most important to CSS, or it listens more to the ID, then followed by the class, then followed by the element. So that's how CSS works. So okay, let me just leave it as brown and I save it. So moving on. So what if we change one specific tag, not all the tags of the same type? We can specify most precise selectors besides the name of the tag, for instance, by class or ID. To specify a tag with a given class name, we can use dot. So we can do this as well. You can say p dot, then a particular class name, which is perfectly fine in CSS. You can do this. So you can call the element's name first, then you can add the class name. So the reason for this is for you to specify the exact item you want to style. So there will not be like repetition or you doing the same thing for different things. So let's have this. Let me give an example. So let me say let me call this just notes. Then let me remove this ID. Can't have the same ID for. So if I save this, so you can see we already have it on the second line. So if I say I want to style my p tag here, and I give it a color of blue, and I save it. Let me comment this out so I don't confuse you guys. So you can see that all our p tags now have the okay, let me create one more. Let me create one more element so that you can see the difference. Let me call this a div tag. Div tag. Save this and let me remove the ID. So okay, if I do this, we have a p tag with a welcome note class, the class welcome note, and we have another div tag with a net welcome note, and we have another p tag with a note class. So basically we have two different elements with the same class name, and we have two elements with the same name with this different class name. So two elements that are the same but they have different class name, and we have two different elements with the same class name. So how to do it? In order to differentiate this, if you say p tag and you style it, and probably you want to style only this particular one here and not the entire p tag, you can just say p dot note, because note is the class name of that particular one we want to style. And if I save this, you can see that only that one with the note class is styled. Same for styling by the class name. If I want to say maybe welcome notes now, let me comment this. And if I want to style for only this, and I save this, you can see that the two classes with the name welcome notes is being styled, and that's not what we want. We probably want to style maybe only one of them. So it's easier for we to probably add the element name to it. So if I want to say maybe the div elements, that's the one I want to style. It's like I'll just say div dot welcome note. So that's specifying the particular one you want to style rather than styling both of them. So if I save this, you can see that we already have this second one being styled. So we have different CSS properties as well. We have background colors. Let me show you. We can have a background color. Let me just add this aqua and I save it. You can see that my entire page has the aqua color. So that's basically how background color works. We can have background image as well. We can say background. So if you want to use an image as a background of your website, you have to use the URL. So this URL means a link actually. If you want to add a link to the part of the image, you can either use a URL or the file part of the image. So in this case, I'm just going to use the file part because I already have images here. You already see that we have this image, then we have this one as well. Okay, maybe I'll just use this one. Okay, so if I'm adding this, if I want to add this as my background image of my page, I can just use a quote. I'm going to use a slash, sorry. I'm going to use // outside my directory. I'm going to locate this image /images/ what's the name of the file? car.jpg. So car.jpg. If I save this, okay, so we can see that the image is in our background now. You can see it's not well aligned and all that, but you can see that the image is in our background now. But then there's a CSS property that can help you style this background image properly, that it should be the way you want it, and it should be like centered and well aligned. So you can say background repeat. So this background repeat is for if you don't want the background image to repeat itself. In this situation, we can see that it's breaking the image into like different parts. You can see from here, it has like different parts. And now before you now actually see your car. So you can use background repeat to just stop it from repeating itself multiple times. The reason why it's repeating itself is because it's just trying to adjust the size of your web page. So if I say no repeat, I save this. Sorry, background repeat, no repeats. Okay, if I say background repeat, no repeat, and I add background position as well. Sorry, background position. And I say center. Okay, I think we have okay, just hold on, sorry. I think this is meant to be the body of the entire thing, not the universal. Okay, sorry. That was a mistake. It was supposed to be the body, not the entire web page. So it's supposed to be the body because the body covers the entire thing we're seeing here. So if I go back and I save this, you can see that the repeat is not there anymore. It was initially supposed to be like this when I added the no repeat property. So you can see that there's no repetition on what we have initially. And if I had background position now, I want to center what we have. I'm going to add center to it and I save it. You can see that the entire the image is at the center now, but then it's still looking a bit, I don't know, big. It's looking like a bit big and it's not the way we want it. So we can say background position, sorry, background, I think that should be background size. So if you want to, you will have to use background size to adjust the size of the background image. So if you want it to like cover the entire web page and it should size appropriately, you're going to use the cover property. And if I save this, you can see that it's showing now. It's just the size of the image that is showing appropriately on my website. So if you want to adjust it to still focus, like to still be the entire thing, you can just specify by saying the height of your body to be 100%. Now I save this. Sorry. Okay, maybe it's because the image we have here is not covering the entire. I think we're not using the best choice of image because your image does matter. If I change it to this particular one, I think this one is quite the size of my website compared to this image. And compared to this image, and they have different file extension. So let me try for PG so that we can use a proper image that covers my website API. Oh, okay. That's not in the parts. Okay. I don't know why it's 100. It's supposed to cover, but I'm still trying to figure that out. Hold on. Okay. Save this. Okay, so we can see that we have the full image, sorry, let me open it with Chrome again. So now we have the entire page full, and that's because we have to specify that the entire page is 100%. If it's not being specified that it's 100%, then it would not work. So that's that. And moving on to other. Okay. So moving on to other properties in CSS. We can call our tag and the ID name as well. If you want to target a particular ID, an element name and an ID, and which is something similar to what we did here. But you can as well do it for IDs. So if you save if you do something like this, I will call we call the particular ID of notes. So we do ID notes. So you can see that the elements that we have that has the ID of notes is being styled. So we have other properties as well. We have the over. We have the over, and the over is an attribute where that can help you style an element probably when you have your mouse on each of the element or any particular element. So let me show you an example. If you have this note, for example, let's say this particular first one, and we say we want to add an over property to it. Sorry, let me just use the next one. So if you want to write it, you say p hash notes, then you're going to add a colon, then you're going to say over. So the over property is just for you to add an over to your element. So if I say color, I change it to green. So if you over on it, it's changing the color. That's basically what over does. You can add so as much as effects, other effects as possible. You can say background color. You can give it maybe brown. I save this. You can see that the background color is changing. Immediately you're hovering on it, and once your cursor is out of it, you can see that it's back to its normal color, which is this blue here. So basically, if you have like maybe background color, initial background color of maybe let me give it this chocolate color, and if I hover on it, you can see that the colors are different. So basically, that's what over does. It gives you that feel of when you over on it, when your mouse is on it, what should happen or the effect that you want it to have on it. So we have other properties for text. We have properties like text align. Text align. It's basically where how you want your text to be. Let me comment this. So you can say text align of center. If you say text align of center, you can see that the text is already in the middle of my website. We can say, if you say end, we can only use start, end, and center. So you can see that the text is at the end of my page. Okay, let me comment this over out as well so that to look. Okay. So that's basically what text align does. You can put it at the start, but by default it's always at the start. But then you say start, you can see that it's still back at the start of the page. So I want to explain padding and margin to you guys. So let me create a div and say, give it a class name of container. And I save this. And I want to select the container. I'll say dot container because it's a class. And I open this curly brace. And let me just give it a height of say 150 pixels. 150 pixels. And I save this. I give it a background color so that you can see where it is. Let me give it orange. And I save it. You can see that this is what we have. It has a height of 100 pixels and the background color is orange. So CSS can as well do this for you. You can even have a text inside of it. Let's say this is my container. and you can see your text inside of it, and you can even style the text as well. You say color. Let me give it a blue color. So if I give it a blue color, you can see that the color has changed, and you can say font size of the color, say 15 pixels. I say font size 15 pixels. Okay, let me increase it a bit. Okay, it's a lot bigger now. So I want to explain how padding work, but first I'll have to give this a border. So there's a border attribute property that you can add to it. So if you want to, if for example of how to give your column a value is, you can say 1 pixel solid black. So you can see that there's a tiny border around this particular item that we have now. And you can, this 1 pixel basically means the size of the width of the margin itself. So you can increase it, you can say 3 pixels. You can see it's a lot deeper, wider. And this solid is basically mean the style of your margin, or your border, sorry. So if you want to change this style, you can, there are other styles for your border. You can say dashed. And you can see that the style is different now. It's a bit looking like dash. So let me just leave it as solid. This black definitely means the color of the border. So if you can basically change it, you can say maybe red. I save this. You can see that the color is now red. So let me just change it back to the way it was. So that's basically what all this stands for. So if you want to say padding, I want to add a padding to this now. And I say 20 pixels and I save. You can see that there's this space now between the border and the item, this particular item. So from here to here, it's giving it a padding of 20 pixels. From here to here, it's giving a border of 20 pixels as well. From down to somewhere around, but you can't see because this particular item is just where it's getting to. And from here as well, it's giving it a padding of 20 pixels. So basically, the padding is just the distance between this particular element and the border of the page. So margin on the other hand is doing quite opposite, which is the distance between the border and the outside of it. So you can see immediately I save this, you can see that 20 pixels is shifting this particular element downward from the outside, not internal, it's external. Let me comment it out and show you again. You can see that it's adjusting back to the way it was. But if I had this margin back to it, you can see that it will. Yeah, it's going to add to the external width, like the distance between the outer part of it to the actual border. So this border, from this border to this external part, that's 20 pixels. So there are different ways to specify. Sometimes you can decide to give it like different distance. So from here, you might decide that, okay, you don't want 20 pixels, but this one you want 20 pixels. This one you want 20 pixels, but this one you don't want 20 pixels as well. So that's you can specify by saying 10 pixels. If you do something like this, you can see that it's adjusting now to 10 pixels. So that means, what this means basically, if you specify it like this, what this means is vertically, this is vertically and this is horizontally. So vertically it's 10 pixels. So this from here to here is 10 pixels. From here to up here is 10 pixels. Hello guys.
Welcome back, sir.
All right. Sorry, I think that was my network. I'm so sorry about that.
All right.
So I don't know what the last thing you heard. So let me just continue from there.
Yeah, padding and margin.
Okay. So yeah, so I wanted to add an element to this item so that it can be a bit clear to you. So let me add a class to it. Let me say item. I save this. Say dot item, and I open this, and I give it a background color of red. Let me save this. Item. Okay, let me give it height, so because you have to add the height so that it can show properly. So we have 100% height now, so that it can fit into the entire space that we have, because we already have a padding. So let me remove the padding so you can see what I'm talking about. If I remove this padding, you can see that the entire page is red, because obviously this item is taking the entire space. So this background color has no use, definitely, because it's like it's covering this one is covering this particular background colors. But if you add this padding to it, let me just specify that it's 20 pixels, and I uncomment this, and I save this. You can see that there's now a space between this particular border. Let me make this border a bit. So yeah, from this black border and this red item, you can see that everything is 20 pixels. You can see 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 20 pixels. So you can see that it's the space, but margin on the other side is like from the external, so it's not internal. So like I said, you can decide to say 10 pixels, and you save this. If you save this, you can see that here is smaller than this, and here obviously is smaller than this too. So that's basically what that code is doing. You can see that 10 pixels is vertical. So vertical means up and down. Horizontal means left and right. So left and right is 20 pixels, and vertical top and bottom is 10 pixels. And you can decide to give them different padding as well. You can say I can do 15 pixels, 20 pixels, 30 pixels, and 40 pixels. And I save it. So what's going on here is you can see that they have different paddings. Here is my 15 pixels, here's my 20 pixels, here's my 30 pixels, and here's my 40 pixels. So if you do something like this, we have top. This is the top. This is the right. This is the bottom, and this is the left. So it's a clockwise manner. It goes in a clockwise manner. So basically, that's how this works. You can see 15 pixels. So this is the top. It's in a clockwise manner. So you can do that. Works the same way as margin too. If you might not be able to see it, but if I do the same thing for the margin, you can see that it basically does have the same thing. This is 40 pixels. From here to here is 40 pixels. From here to here is 30 pixels. And from here to here is 15 pixels. Here is 20 pixels. You might not be able to see this one because there's nothing under it that you can use to differentiate it. But obviously that's basically what that does. So moving on. Okay, we've done the intro over. Okay, you can use this greater than selector as well. This is used for from parents to children kind of thing. So you can use that particular parent to style the child. So in this kind of situation, we can say I can create a list UI li li li. So if I say blue, say purple. So if I save this now and I give this a class of say list. So let me give this a new class name as well, new list, and I save this. If I want to style this particular items and not this particular one, you can just basically say, you can say ul dot list. Then you can add that greater than property, and you can say li like this. So if you style this, I'm giving it a color of, let's say, let's give it like purple, that's dark magenta. So you can see that this basically has that color, not this one, because we're being specific about the particular list that we want to style. So that's that about the greater than selector. So moving on, I don't know, we don't have enough time. I would have said we should do something like a nav bar for a website, but I'm not sure if we have enough time because this class will end by 11:15. But I can give you guys an assignment. So maybe the next time we meet, then we basically can do that. But then this was what I was talking about in terms of margin. So you can see from here to here is the margin. This is
Dami,
yes, sir.
you have 10 minutes to go.
Yes,
Please
sir.
round up.
All right, sir. So from here we have a border. From here we have a padding. So this is basically the border. This is the padding. This is the distance between. This is your content. So that's how that works. So here we have a display too. We have different types of display. We have the block display, we have the inline display, we have the inline block display. So block display is a display where we have each of the items on their own separate lines. So this one is on its line, so it has its own row. This particular one too has its own row. This one has its own row. This inline is it's just how as the name implies, the every item is like inline. They're like written together. On the other hand, inline block is just the combination of this and this. It's just basically a block. Each of them have like their own block. It's just a separate block, but they are still in line with each other. But the item, they are basically in line with each other, but they are blocks. They have their own separate height. They have the same height. Sorry, they have the same height. They have uniform height. Compared to this one. This one is just the particular element height, regardless of the element height or whatever you add to it, it's just going to be that way. One of the hardest parts of CSS is construing the layout of a website, the structure inside the window. By default, HTML tends to put everything in one column, which is not ideal. There has been many, so this is like the standard protocol of how a website should be like. You should have the header on the top, the nav at the left-hand side, the footer at the bottom here. So this should be the content of your website. So that's CSS basically does this. It allows you to style each of this. So far, do you guys have a question? Any question? So if you have a question, please you can ask. Does anyone have a question?
No.
Okay. So Just a moment. So I want to give you guys an assignment. I want you guys to do a simple navbar for a website. So probably when we meet the next time, then I'm going to check it out. So you can check how this is an example of a simple navbar. This is like the logo of the website.
Okay.
The nav items, the services, the projects, about us, contact us. So this is an example of a navbar. So I just want you guys to do a simple navbar with HTML and CSS. So you guys can reach out to me if you have any issues trying to do that or anything. But yeah, this is the assignment I want to give you guys pending the next class that we have. Is that
All
fine?
right. So, yes. Are you going to like screenshot and send it to the WhatsApp group so we'll be able to
Okay,
have
this
it?
particular one.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just save this particular one, and I'll send it to you guys in the group chat.
Okay.
So you can just do this particular one now. For the colors, you can use the same color that we have here. This is gray. This is like light blue. This is like deep blue. This is like normal sky blue. So you can use that. So in absence of no question, or does anybody have anything they want to ask? All right then. If there's no question, I think I'll be handing over now. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Mr. Abbas.
Oh, Mr. Toby.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, sir.
I'm here.
Yeah. Or is there a way we can reach out to you, like if you have any challenges, maybe during the
That's what I'm saying,
weekdays?
that you can reach out to me if you have any challenges.
Okay. Your WhatsApp number is he?
You are not in the group chat.
I am.
Yeah, you can see my name there.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sir.